Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is November the 20th, 2022. Hopefully, this episode finds you well and in good spirits. Hopefully, you're feeling that, holiday energy, cheer, or whatever. I don't know. Let me know if you are more of a, like, hey, I'm going to celebrate this turkey time, this Thanksgiving, if you will, or is it like right after Halloween, you just go straight into Christmas mode? It's like Mariah Carey, it's Jingle Bells, it's all that shit. Um, Actually, the Mariah Carey is a little bit of a foreshadowing, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Not too much to report on the personal news. We're doing the hat trick again. We got 3 episodes. That yeah, I love it. But yeah, not too much has gone on. Just been kind of hanging out. So we can just get into some news. Sadly, I got this one from CNN. Mass shooting at LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Springs leaves at least 5 dead and 18 wounded. This was some news that broke overnight. It was really sad to hear. But it was this nightclub called Club Q. Um, a man had went in. I think he had a long rifle and 2 firearms. At least that's what was found on the scene. I believe he did use the long rifle. It was Anderson Lee Aldrich, um, and he was identified by the Colorado Springs Police Chief Adrian Vasquez. It looks like 2 people who were inside the club confronted him and stopped him like from it getting worse. But I mean, in the span of time, I think he enters well. There's 911 calls at 11:56. Officers are dispatched at 11:57, and the suspect is detained at 12:02. So I mean, this all takes place in a very short amount of time. But in that short span of time, 5 people were killed and 18 others were injured in varying levels of critical care or just wounds. But very sad. I mean, they haven't released the motive yet, but I mean, this is eerily familiar to the Club Pulse situation that happened in Florida, in which a lot of people were killed. Different maybe in terms of like exact motive, but definitely hate seems to be the premise. Seems to be like just a really sad motif. I mean, not just in this country. I think it's an international problem that when people are different, whether it be you're coming at it from a religious perspective, whether you're coming at it from just a traditional norm, societal norms perspective, you, instead of trying to understand people and coming to common ground with people, you say, no, these people are different from me. I want to hate them. I want them to not be here. I want them to not exist. But the thing is, you're not, like, doing this kind of shit doesn't make that happen. It doesn't make your reality real. It doesn't make it come to fruition. You just snuff out people's lives, and it's really a fucking shame. It's really sad. I will say though, it's good like to see the community coming together, and it seems like even from top to bottom, in terms of like the I think the governor of Colorado is gay, so that's cool. We love to see it. Yeah, let's see. Colorado Governor Jared Polis, the nation's first openly gay governor, issued a statement calling the attack horrific, sickening, and devastating. Um, so yeah, I mean, just super sad. Breaking news that kind of bubbled up, and I wanted to talk about it, wanted to cover it. Um, but yeah, I would just say that like we should always just try to rally around each other. I think that's a thing to try to take away from these kind of things. Like we should never stop being ourselves, no matter who you are. You shouldn't have to change that. You can't change that. That is who you want to be. That is who you are, and no one's gonna take that away from you. So yeah, I don't I I don't want to like get too cheesy, too fucking corny here. But yeah, in some other news, there is let's see, an update on Daryl Brooks. We've covered this like I think what was it last year, But I didn't really cover too much of the trial, just in terms of like, what he did in terms of driving his SVU into a Christmas parade and killing 6 people and injuring at least a dozen others. Well, let's go ahead and read the title. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Got this from USA Today. Daryl Brooks sentenced to life in prison in Wisconsin Christmas attack, or in Wisconsin Christmas parade attack that left 6 dead. So he was sentenced to life. Let's see. A lot of the trial though was very hectic. It had a lot of I kind of want to say drama, just because like with Daryl Brooks Jr. He's definitely, suffering from, some kind of like, mental health issues. And it was really just hard for him to get through this trial. He wanted to represent himself, and there was issues with that, which led to him acting out. And, there was, I guess, several times that he had to be kind of ejected from court and have to do the proceedings via Zoom call. But he has, like, said he is repentant. He is, kind of chosen the path of God, stuff like that. Excuse me. He's also said that he wanted to be sentenced to a place that was going to help him with his mental, like, health issues in terms of, like, dealing with the, the mental pain he's dealing with and going through. He's also referenced just a lot of, like, I guess, trauma at home he's had to grow up with, like mental and physical abuse, things of that nature. Well, that's definitely not up for debate or dispute, I don't think. But I do feel like it's one of those things where, yes, you can have problems with your mental health, and, it can be, hard to get through, and it shouldn't be a burden, but it is your responsibility to, like, deal with those things. You can't just sit there and say, oh, I have these issues, I have these demons, I have these battles, and go over and over and over again, and then have these things snap and say, well, oh, I have this mental health, I have these problems. When you see yourself going down this line, when you have people around even saying, hey, like, we need to do something, we need to make some changes here, brother, sister, whoever, you have to really accept that and try your best to make those things happen. Because even sometimes when you do, it's still like not enough. You never know, but you have to do everything in your power. It's not to say that, like, I'm trying to, like, villainize anyone who has those kind of issues, for sure. I mean, I have my own personal battles, with mental health, but it's definitely all about how you are going about making sure that you're okay, because that is important. It's not just a cliche like, oh, you gotta treat yourself, you gotta love yourself. Like, no, you do. Like, you have to make sure you're in order. Like, you need to be a contained entity. Like, I don't know, that is a part of living. It should never get to a point where you're hurting or harming others. And especially if harming is you're hurting yourself, that's also something you don't want. So definitely, I mean, kind of a sad cap to a story like this. And I mean, we're just going to have more of these kind of go along the way as I cover a story. I know inevitably it's going to trickle down into a verdict, but that's the news, baby. You got to do it, right? that's the nature of this beast that I'm writing. In some other news, kind of quirky, I guess, but you know me, I love a good fraud. I love a good heist. So I had to cover this one. It's from the Yahoo News and the Los Angeles Times. New clues in Brink's heist mystery. Video shows suspicious men at jewelry show. So, I mean, I'll kind of give you the short gist of this one. I would definitely maybe say, if you're interested, read it into this. And if you find more, please let me know. Please go for that for me. But, I mean, the story starts, they're talking about a guy in like a black windbreaker. He's got like glasses on. He's, really incognito. He's got a blue surgical mask on. He looks like he's casing out the joint. And essentially, this is kind of almost like a jewelry expo, I want to say. Maybe I'm like making it sound lame. But like essentially all throughout the San Mateo County Event Center, there's just a bunch of just nice jewelry pieces. And they're all laid out in these like glass cases, and people can come and they buy them. And I guess this is like a roving show that goes throughout The okay, this is the name of it. The International Gem and Jewelry Show. So it's international. This is going all around the world. Awesome. But essentially, this was very odd, very suspicious. Swanson, who I believe is like a manager, kind of like, I don't know if she's like security or she's just kind of like part of just making sure the event runs smoothly or whatever. They call her the show's manager, and self-professed Mama Bear, who looks after the event's vendors. So essentially, she was just like saying, "Hey, this is suspicious. This is really odd." She got security to kind of get the guy out of there. He says, "Oh, I don't speak English or whatever." And okay, that's something. But I guess throughout this whole day, there was a lot of weird happenings. A lot of guys who just didn't seem like they should be being there. A lot of suspicious cars. Some cars without fucking like license plates or whatever. So very odd, very weird. People chilling in places they shouldn't be, like in loading areas for the truck. So anyway, fast forward a bit. They load up the jewelry on trucks for the night to go to the next place. Okay, awesome. Apparently there is an announcement saying, "Hey, beware. There has been like suspicious activity. Make sure you're watching everything. Everything's on the up and up. Take precautions," pretty much. So the people loading it, they try that. They try to do that. But essentially, everything is put in this Brinks truck. It goes on along its merry way. And somewhere at a Flying J, I believe it's like a rest stop kind of area. Let's see, at a Grapevine truck stop. So essentially, yeah, Flying J, that area. Does it say Lebec? Anyway, essentially, thieves stole about 22 bags of jewelry while this truck was just chilling. I guess the guy was asleep, and then there was another guy getting food at the Flying J. And it's roughly estimated that amount of jewelry stolen was about $100 million. At least that's according to the vendors who are saying they're victimized. This is how much they're reporting. Brinks is saying, no, it's maybe about 10 million. So they are currently legally disputing that right now. But, I mean, it's just really odd, very weird that all these little happenings, all these little people were around scoping out the joint. And even Swanson says, "Hey, I told the Brinks people, you need to be careful. I was telling everyone this. Like, we need to be on high alert. Things are going awry. This is weird." And Brinks is kind of like, "Did you though? Because we don't have any reportings of these suspicious people you keep mentioning." And she's like, "No, I went up to the people and said, you need to be aware. I saw this guy at the very least. This is odd. This is suspicious." And they're saying, we don't know. We don't know. Maybe you did. We don't think you did. So it's very odd, very suspicious, odd happenings, a lot of money, a lot of jewelry. It was giving like Ocean's 11, so I wanted to talk about that, cover that a bit. Hopefully, maybe something leaks, something, a little more nuggets, fall from the sky. I'd love to dig into more of this story, but that's all I got for that. Let's see. Now, I don't know if you guys are Swiftie fans or not. probably maybe not for most of my little like listening base. I gotta say, I do listen to Taylor Swift. I wouldn't say I'm like a devotee. I like some songs more than others, but hey, I like me a good pop, maybe formerly country singer. I don't know. Don't come for me on that. But she was making the news this week. Apparently, her new tour, the Erase tour, was gonna drop. This is like her first tour since like 2018. But things went awry, and we'll get into this from this article real quick. I got it from Forbes. Ticketmaster cancels public sale for Taylor Swift's Erase tour amid historically high demand. So, essentially, like I said, this was a really big tour. A lot of hype. Fans apparently losing their minds for this shit. They were ready. And Ticketmaster has a setup, so it's like, hey, you can pre-sign up like a little fan thing or whatever, and that will give you special access to tickets before others, before the general admission. and it's supposed to make sure that like the really diehard fans can get their tickets for sure. And on Ticketmaster's end, it's good because it supposedly helps stop bots. So essentially, this is supposed to be kind of foolproof, so everyone thought, but they were bombarded. So much so that like it's not sure if maybe bots were able to get through and able to get into this fan thing somehow, or if it was just by sheer force of will by all the Swifties flocking to make sure that they were going to get their tickets, and that's how this happened. So it's caused a lot of kerfuffle because now they've had to cancel the general admission, and it's made everyone who has tickets, they go, oh shit, and people who are going to resell them anyway. I mean, I think these tickets might have been going for like $50 or so, but then you see them now going anywhere from like $80 to like $1,000 or more for tickets. Now, maybe those prices on the high end are going to go down just because, like, they've been sitting at that price. It's just way too high, you would think, for people to pay to just go see Taylor fucking Swift. But, I mean, people are losing their noggins. And, I mean, she has really been putting up the numbers. I don't know if you've listened to the, Midnight's album. I don't know. I guess we can do a little album rate right now. I thought it was okay. I feel like I haven't really listened to a Taylor Swift album end to end since like the 22 one. I don't know like what that one was, but I thought that one was good. I've listened to several others. I tend to like Taylor Swift in terms of singles. Albums, not so much. I feel like this one was okay. Snow on the Beach with Lana Del Rey, very good in terms of a song, but I feel like it's underutilized for Lana Del Rey. But I don't know, maybe I'm getting a little bit in the weeds here on my review. But anyway, back to the article. Essentially, they were slammed, and now people are going to be missing out on tickets. And people have been in an uproar about that. Obviously, Taylor Swift is not happy. Has issued like statements and stuff. I think Ticketmaster or whoever had kind of said that, look, like to get the amount of volume, like Taylor Swift would have to do this tour for years, performing like nonstop in order to get everyone who wants a ticket, who is saying they want a ticket, to have access to a ticket and, be able to perform. So it's just not feasibly possible. So I don't know. It might be them kind of trying to absolve themselves a little bit, but, I mean, yeah, I just saw that this affected a lot of people. A lot of discourse has been about like whether or not even it's worth it to be upset about this kind of thing, which look, I wouldn't want to yell at anyone's yum. Like I said, I like Taylor Swift. I personally wouldn't be going dummy over a ticket, but I mean, pick any of my favorite artists. I'm not too pressed to go see them live. That's just me. I'm not really a public out there guy. But, yeah, I found this interesting, and I wasn't gonna skip on a moment to talk about T Swifty. So, and then I'm gonna round it out. I'm gonna hit a Yule log real quick, and then we're gonna talk about a queen, and we're gonna talk about Christmas. Oh yeah. Okay. I got this from NPR. Mariah Carey can't be the only queen of Christmas. The trademark agency rules. So this was a story that was kind of building up. I wanted to wait until the verdict was kind of cast. See where the chips fell. But Mariah Carey has been making a push to be officially like trademarked the Queen of Christmas. And by her getting it trademarked, it would mean no one else can use it. It would also allow her to go just really hard on a campaign push for more products related to Christmas. Like I guess she has a company by Lotion LLC. That's the name of it. And she was going to use branding like Princess Christmas and QOC, also Queen of Christmas, on a range of products from fragrances to makeup to clothing, jewelry, dog accessories, rough. And I mean, this was going to be like a big move. Now, people like Darlene Love had kind of said, like, hey, I mean, David Letterman named me the Queen of Christmas once. Then there was also a person by the name of Elizabeth Chan who describes herself as music's only full-time Christmas singer-songwriter. And Chan was the one who said, hold up now. I gotta say, I gotta stand up. I gotta fight for my right to Christmas. And she did. This is like, almost feels like a Hallmark movie. It is very cute in its own way. I think sadly it kind of makes my girl Mariah Carey the villain here, but I get it. She's trying to get the bag. But essentially, Chan filed a motion in opposition to Mariah Carey's request earlier this year. Mariah Carey's team more or less tried to like extend, petition to like kind of say, hey, let's like we want to wait. Can we get an extension? And eventually, the trademark agency just said, we're gonna rule in default against your request. So you're not the only queen. And Mariah really hasn't done anything about it. Even though it's touted as like a win for Elizabeth Chan, she's essentially just saying like, hey, I'm just glad that everyone can use the title. I do like that NPR kind of goes into a bit of a bio on Elizabeth Chan. Even talking about how like the Princess of Christmas was kind of important to her because she's using that for branding for her daughter. And her daughter is named Noel, which is French for Christmas. So, I mean, that to me is showing a very strong dedication to your brand you are really about this season. She's trying to ring in some tidings of cheer, and she means it with her whole chest. So, I mean, I guess kudos to Elizabeth Chan for standing up for her royalty. We stand a queen, we stand a legend. But yeah, that's what I wanted to round it off on. I would say that's some good news. I don't know about you, but I thank you for listening. I thank you for just being a part of my little podcast project whatever. I don't know. We're at the end of the road here for the weekend. I hope you have an amazing week. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.